But during an active disappearance involving possible ransom communications, a short message can carry enormous weight. The family could not know whether it was genuine. They could not know whether the person writing had Nancy. They could not know whether ignoring the message might remove their only chance to reach her. The sender allegedly wrote as though a payment had already been discussed. That wording created the impression of an ongoing negotiation. It suggested the family should understand what he meant. It placed pressure on them to respond before they had time to think. This is one reason ransom communication is so psychologically powerful. The sender creates urgency. They make the family believe time is running out. They force frightened people to make decisions while imagining that one wrong move could hurt someone they love. Even when the communication is fake, the person receiving it does not experience fake fear. Their hands still shake. Their heart still races. They still wonder whether the message is the first real contact from the person holding their mother. They still have to ask whether Nancy is alive somewhere waiting for them to answer. Federal investigators could not dismiss the communication as a hoax simply because it looked suspicious. They had to treat it as potentially real. That meant protecting the messages, examining the number, contacting the company that provided it, determining whether the sender used a standard cellular line, an internet-based number, or an application designed to hide the user's identity. They would need account records, device information, internet addresses, emails connected to the service, possible payment data, location records. They would compare the words with any other communication connected to Nancy's disappearance. Did the sender know something private? Did he use a phrase that had not appeared in news reports? Did he provide the same Bitcoin address as another note? Did he know something about Nancy's home, medical condition, clothing, or family? Those questions mattered because the difference between an imposter and a participant can be one unreleased detail. A copycat builds a message from public information. A real offender may possess something only the family and investigators know. According to the complaint, investigators traced the messages to Kalela in California. He was arrested in Hawthorne on February 5th. Federal prosecutors say that after receiving his Miranda warnings, he admitted sending the two messages. He reportedly told investigators that he had been following the case on television. He said he obtained family contact information through what he described as a cyber website. He allegedly explained that he sent the messages because he wanted to see whether the family would respond. That explanation does not make the conduct less disturbing. It makes the purpose painfully clear. He was not claiming he believed he could help. He was not saying he had received a genuine tip. He was not describing an attempt to test security for law enforcement. According to the government's account, he wanted a reaction. He chose a family living through an emergency. He researched their contact details. He created communications that sounded connected to a ransom. Then he waited to see what their fear would produce. People sometimes describe fake messages like these as pranks. That word is far too small. A prank ends with embarrassment or laughter. A false ransom communication creates panic during a possible life or death investigation. It forces investigators to divert attention. It can interfere with genuine contact. It can confuse evidence. It can push the family through another cycle of hope and despair. The sender may spend only minutes creating the message. The damage can last far longer. Imagine being one of Nancy's daughters. Your mother has disappeared. You are trying to cooperate with investigators. You are being told not to release certain details. You are watching strangers discuss your family online. Then an unknown number asks whether the Bitcoin was sent. You cannot simply delete it. You cannot assume the person is lying. You must hand the message to investigators and wait. For a short period, you may believe this is the person who can return your mother. Then you learn the sender may never have known anything. That moment does not return the emotional energy the family spent on it. It only adds another wound. Kalela was charged with transmitting a ransom demand across state lines and anonymously using telecommunications with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass. Those charges concern the alleged messages. They do not accuse him of entering Nancy's home. They do not accuse him of being the masked person recorded on surveillance. They do not accuse him of causing the blood found near the property. They do not accuse him of abducting Nancy. That line must remain clear. A person can commit a serious offense connected to the public aftermath of a disappearance without participating in the disappearance itself. High-profile cases attract many kinds of people. Some offer real help. Some submit mistaken tips. Some create theories. Others look for attention, money, influence, or emotional control. An investigation may produce arrests for false reporting, harassment, fraud, or obstruction, while the original offender remains unidentified. The existence of those secondary crimes can mislead the public. A name enters the headlines. The person appears in court. Viewers assume this must be the breakthrough. But the legal case may answer only who sent one message, not who committed the central crime. From the beginning, investigators reportedly separated Kalela's communications from the notes sent to media outlets. His texts went directly to members of the family. The other messages were submitted to news organizations. The channels were different. The wording was different. Investigators examined whether any connection existed. The government ultimately described Kalela as an imposter. For months, however, the other notes continued to shape public theories. One reportedly demanded millions in cryptocurrency. Another claimed Nancy had died. A more recent message claimed knowledge of the people responsible. Analysts built theories around those notes. Some believed the use of Bitcoin suggested a technically sophisticated offender. Others believed the shift from cold demands to apparent regret revealed an abduction that had gone wrong. Some imagined a remote planner working with a local person. Others treated details in the messages as proof the writer had entered Nancy's home. Now, federal investigators reportedly believe those notes were not genuine either. That changes how Kalela's case should be viewed. Earlier speculation treated him as a possible copycat standing beside an authentic ransom operation. His alleged plea change invited questions about whether he knew anything about that operation. Maybe he had encountered the real writer online. Maybe prosecutors were asking him to cooperate. Maybe his hearing was connected to information hidden from the public. But if the other communications were also fake, that entire structure becomes weaker. There may have been no real ransom network for him to know about. There may have been no authentic Bitcoin negotiation. There may have been no remote planner composing messages while another person acted locally. There may have been only Nancy's disappearance, followed by several unrelated people exploiting it. That possibility is difficult to accept because it makes the investigation feel less organized. A genuine ransom provides a motive, money, a payment method, a writer, a communication trail, deadlines, a possible cryptocurrency address. Investigators can analyze all of it. They can study language, trace transactions, compare devices, test whether the sender possesses private knowledge. When the communication is false, that path collapses. The words reveal the mind of the hoaxer, not the person who took Nancy. The Bitcoin address leads away from the crime. The tone change has no meaning for Nancy's final hours. The claim that she died becomes another cruel invention. The offender remains silent behind the noise. The reported FBI assessment says the first two notes came from the same source but were not credible. Investigators reportedly made a small test cryptocurrency payment to the account provided in the demand. The money was not claimed. That fact alone may not prove a message is false. A cautious offender might refuse to touch a payment they believe is being monitored. They may lose access. They may change plans. But investigators reportedly combined the untouched payment with other authenticity tests and concluded the sender was not connected to Nancy's disappearance. A third message was also judged inauthentic. The details of every test have not been released publicly. That secrecy is understandable. Investigators often hold back the methods they use to verify a ransom note. They may ask for proof of life. They may place controlled information into a response. They may examine technical data attached to the message. They may compare writing patterns. They may track account activity. They may look for knowledge that was never reported. If they reveal every method, future hoaxers and real offenders can learn how to defeat it. The reported conclusion is more important than the undisclosed process. None of the known messages is currently believed to be genuine. That does not reduce the seriousness of Kalela's alleged conduct. It may actually place it inside a broader and more troubling pattern. Nancy's family did not receive one false hope. The entire public conversation may have been flooded with false communications. Each new message forced another review. Each one risked another round of headlines. Each one created pressure on the family to respond. Each one allowed a stranger to control the case for a moment. The false notes may also have shaped public behavior. People debated whether the family should pay. They analyzed cryptocurrency. They questioned why the offender used media outlets. They discussed whether Nancy had died. They built suspect profiles from the writer's vocabulary. If those communications were fake, months of public attention may have been directed toward people who never encountered Nancy. This is the investigative harm caused by hoaxes. They do not only waste time, they create an alternate version of the crime. The public begins solving that version instead of the real one. Kalela's scheduled change of plea hearing arrives at a strange moment. His case was already moving through federal court. He had pleaded not guilty. A trial date had been scheduled and later delayed. Now he is expected to return to court and change his plea. The phrase, change of plea, naturally creates suspense. People ask what changed. Did prosecutors discover new evidence? Did he agree to cooperate? Did someone else become involved? Did the wider Nancy investigation affect his decision? The ordinary answer may be the correct one. The government appears to have possessed strong evidence from the beginning.